The case of Andrei Chikatilo, a forensic and psychological analysis, background and early life, 1936-1978. Andrei Romanovich Chikatilo was born in 1936 in Yabloknoye, Ukraine, during a time of famine and political upheaval in the Soviet Union. From a forensic psychology perspective, his early life offers clues to his later pathology. Before we continue, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Behind the Veil, and like the video below. We really appreciate it, and you helping us to grow. Enjoy the rest of the video. Chikatilo reported a traumatic childhood, marked by poverty, the Soviet famine, Holodomor, and stories of his older brother allegedly being cannibalized during the 1930s. He was socially awkward, suffered from chronic bedwetting, and later disclosed sexual impotence, which fueled deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and rage. These early experiences align with psychological theories of serial offending, where humiliation and powerlessness can foster violent fantasies as a means of reclaiming control. Chikatilo's outward life appeared unremarkable. He earned a degree, worked as a teacher, and later a factory clerk, married and had 2 children. However, beneath this facade, his sexual dysfunction and repressed anger were brewing. By 1978, at age 42, he committed his first known murder, marking the start of a 12-year reign of terror. The Killing Spree, 1978 to 1990. Chikatilo's crimes spanned from 1978 to 1990, primarily in the Rostov region of the Soviet Union. He killed at least 52 victims, though he confessed to 56, targeting women, girls, and boys. His victims were often vulnerable, runaways, prostitutes, or children lured with promises of food, money, or alcohol. As a forensic scientist, the crime scenes reveal a pattern of extreme violence. Chikatilo's modus operandi, MO, involved luring victims to secluded areas, often near train stations or forests, where he would stab, mutilate, and sometimes sexually assault them post-mortem. The bodies were frequently found with multiple stab wounds, sometimes dozens, evisceration and removal of body parts like eyes or genitals, suggesting a ritualistic component to his attacks. Forensically, the crime scenes were chaotic yet consistent. Blood spatter analysis indicated frenzied attacks with high-angle impact patterns from repeated stabbings. Semen was occasionally found, but due to Chikatilo's impotence, sexual assault was often incomplete or post-mortem, a detail critical to understanding his psychological drive. His signature, mutilation, particularly eye removal, may reflect a need to dehumanize victims or avoid their gaze, a common trait in offenders with deep shame or paranoia. From a psychological perspective, Chikatilo fits the profile of a disorganized serial killer with sadistic and power control motivations. His impotence likely fueled his rage, leading him to substitute violence for sexual gratification. The mutilation and necrophilic acts suggest a need to dominate and possess victims entirely. His victim selection, often strangers or marginalized individuals, points to opportunism and a low risk of detection in the Soviet system where transient populations were common. Evasion and investigation challenges. Chikatilo's ability to evade capture for over a decade horrified the USSR and exposed flaws in its law enforcement system. Forensically, early investigations were hampered by limited technology. Blood typing was used, but DNA profiling was not yet available in the Soviet Union. Chikatilo was briefly detained in 1984 after being seen acting suspiciously near a crime scene, but he was released when his blood type A did not match semen found at scenes type AB. This discrepancy, later attributed to a rare condition where seminal fluid carries different antigens, a phenomenon called non-secretor status, misled investigators. Psychologically, Chikatilo's unassuming demeanor, married, employed, and non-threatening, allowed him to blend in. Unlike charismatic killers like Ted Bundy, Chikatilo was socially awkward but not overtly suspicious, fitting the invisibility often seen in serial offenders. The Soviet Union's political climate also hindered the investigation. Authorities initially suppressed reports of a serial killer to avoid public panic, delaying coordinated efforts. Cultural stigmas around homosexuality and sexual deviance further muddled profiling, as some investigators wrongly assumed the killer targeted only boys. By the late 1980s, the Rostov police formed a task force as bodies piled up. Forensic evidence, like soil samples and fiber analysis, began linking crime scenes, but the sheer volume of murders overwhelmed resources. A breakthrough came with psychological profiling, led by Soviet psychiatrist Dr. Alexander Bukhanovsky. His profile described a middle-aged, sexually dysfunctional male. Capture and confession, 1990. Chikatilo's capture in November 1990 was a combination of forensic diligence and behavioral observation. Police intensified patrols near train stations, a known hunting ground. On November 6, Chikatilo was stopped after approaching a girl in Rostov. Though released, an officer noted his suspicious behavior and briefcase contents, a knife, rope, and Vaseline. When another body was found nearby days later, Chikatilo was arrested. Forensic analysis tied fibers from his clothing to victims, and a re-examination of blood evidence confirmed his involvement. Psychologically, Chikatilo's interrogation revealed a textbook case of a broken facade. Initially denying involvement, he crumbled under pressure and confessed after Bukhanovsky's empathetic approach, detailing 56 murders with chilling precision. His confessions were corroborated by crime scene details only the killer would know, such as specific mutilations or body disposal sites. Bukhanovsky's psychological evaluation diagnosed Chikatilo with borderline personality disorder, sexual sadism, and necrophilic tendencies rooted in his impotence and childhood trauma. Trial and Legacy, 1992-1994. Chikatilo's 1992 trial was a media spectacle held in a cage to protect him from public outrage. He displayed erratic behavior, alternating between remorse, defiance, and bizarre outbursts, such as exposing himself in court. Forensic evidence, including tool mark analysis on wounds and fiber matches, secured his conviction for 52 murders. Psychologically, his behavior in court suggested a mix of grandiosity and dissociation, common in serial killers confronting their crimes. Chikatilo was executed by firing squad in 1994. His case left a lasting impact on Soviet and Russian criminology, highlighting the need for advanced forensic techniques and psychological profiling. It also exposed systemic issues like bureaucratic denial and inadequate police coordination, which prolonged his spree. Forensic and psychological takeaways. As a forensic scientist, Chikatilo's case underscores the importance of integrating physical evidence, fibers, blood typing, with emerging technologies like DNA, which could have hastened his capture. As a forensic psychologist, his profile reveals how sexual dysfunction, shame, and power fantasies can manifest in extreme violence. His prolonged evasion reflects both his cunning and the societal blind spots of the time,